6 bankruptcies. I mean, look, people make mistakes in business. If you're not making mistakes, you're not really a businessman. Like, there's no question. I get it, right? And I'd cut I'd cut any business person a lot of slack for, you got a bankruptcy, you got 2 bankruptcies. It happens, brother. 6? He's never had a successful business. Trump steaks, Trump water, Trump casinos. You can't name a successful business. He bought an airplane company. He put gold seats in an economy airline and immediately went bankrupt. He's terrible at business.
In today's video, Cenk Uygur absolutely destroys Patrick Bet-David in the heated debate on Trump and mainstream media. Patrick is out here pushing the idea that Trump was some kind of business genius and that his second term will be all about economic success. But Cenk, he tears that narrative to shreds. Patrick keeps throwing out the Trump is a great businessman argument, but Cenk fires back with cold, hard facts, talking about Trump's endless business failures, bankruptcies, fraud cases, and how he ran the country like a scam operation. It's actually wild how many times Trump's business genius amounted to nothing but debt, lawsuits, and sketchy deals. So let's dive in and watch how Cenk Uygur shuts down Patrick Bet-David in this heated debate.
But look, if you say it's personal, well, number one, it isn't, because I'm giving you nuance on both sides, okay? But having said that, look, it got personal when he lost the election in 2020 and said, screw it, I'm going to try a coup. I'm going to do these fake electors scheme. I'm going to try to rob America of its democracy just so I can stay in power. Screw that guy. And if any of you are voting for that guy who's totally un-American, who betrayed this country, you're nuts, and he won't ever leave office. He's a wannabe dictator. He always praises dictators, whether it's Xi in China, whether it's Kim Jong-un in North Korea, Putin. He's always saying, they get all the applause when they walk in. No one is allowed to disagree with them. And then freedom, my ass. He hates freedom. He wants to take away everyone's freedom so that all the power goes to him, okay? So no, Pat, look, you can...
I'm not laughing at you. It's entertaining what you're saying, and
it's 100% true.
I can see... Okay, so let me ask you a different question. Who do you trust more, him or Biden?
I don't trust either one of them. It's not about trust.
Fair. Okay, so who do you see more? If your choices are the 2 guys right now, are you going to sit this one out?
Oh, no way. I'm going to vote Biden because I want another election. If you put Trump back in charge, there's at least a 50% chance we're never going to have another election.
So let me ask you this other question. To the people who, when Hillary lost, you've seen that clip when Hillary lost. It's one of the greatest. Bill Burr said it best when he was on Conan O'Brien. He says, look, man, forget about the Olympics, Russia, U.S., forget about, the home run, forget about this. He says, dude, this guy beat Hillary Clinton. It's like the people lost their minds, right? What did Hillary Clinton do for 4 years? You know what she did. She went around campaigning around what? They stole the election. They stole the election. They stole the election. And we...
What do you mean before, Pat? Before she was doing it with all that bullshit.
Yeah. But they didn't say that he physically stole the election. There's a giant difference. Saying, boo-hoo, which he did, of like, the Russians interfered in the election, which, by the way, they did, but not enough to make the difference, okay? But... that's just crying after you lost. Whereas Donald Trump had a scheme of fake electors to do a goddamn coup.
So I got to follow up.
Hillary did not do that.
I can't stand Hillary. And she did actually concede. Wait.
First off, let's talk about Trump's business record. Patrick wants to act like Trump is some business genius, but 6 bankruptcies say otherwise. Cenk lays it all out. Trump steaks, Trump Airlines, Trump Casinos, Trump University, all massive failures. The man even managed to tank a casino business. You have to be historically bad at business to lose money on a casino business, where people literally give you their cash. And Trump's second term is shaping up to be even a bigger disaster than his failed business ventures. The economy? Struggling. Inflation may have slowed down, but wages aren't keeping up, and everyday Americans are still drowning in high living costs. Trump loves to brag about the stock market, but guess what? It's crashing. The S&P 500 has plummeted 8% this month alone.
She conceded.
Here's my question, Cenk. So let's say you are Trump. You legitimately win the election. Hold on.
Don't use the word legitimate.
Time out. You won in 2016. You find out all these years later with the Durham report and all that shit that not only did Hillary help set up lawyers, the dossier, everything. How can you blame somebody for not trusting the FBI or everything in 2000?
That's a good question.
I wouldn't trust. I wouldn't.
Can I answer?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust anybody.
Okay, so look, when he asked for a recount, I said, hell yeah. When he asked for a hand recount, I said, hell yeah. Why? Progressives have been asking to verify elections for decades now, right? But when some Bernie supporters back in 2016 said, oh, no, Hillary stole the election from Bernie in the primaries, I said, look, when you're talking about how they set up the debates, how they funneled money from the donors through the state Democratic parties, that's true, okay? But if you're talking about evidence of rigged elections, you have to come with frickin' evidence. And our side didn't. So I said, no, I don't care how angry you get at me. Hillary Clinton did not steal the votes in those elections in the primary in 2016. So when you get to Trump, if he says, hey, I want to recount, great. But they did. They recounted 3 times. They did hand recounts. Then they went to court 60 times. And guys, this is definitive. He couldn't present one piece of evidence. He had 60 shots at it. You know why he couldn't present one piece of evidence? Because there is no evidence. There is no evidence, and he knows it. He made it up from day one. He's a giant liar. He's always been a pathological liar. And he came in and was like, oh, I don't like losing. I don't like losing. I don't like it. Boo-hoo. Oh, I think they stole it. They made up 7 million votes. Hugo Chavez, they blamed the Kraken, all these insane donkeys or mules or whatever the hell. Get it out of here. Hey, all of MAGA, show me one piece of evidence in court, not BS. Oh, I said it on TV, doesn't that count? No, all you ever do is lie on TV. All the politicians lie on TV. Go to court, show the evidence. Until then, shut up and stop trying to steal elections and stop hating America. America's about elections, it's about democracy.
PBD tries to argue that Trump had reasons not to trust the election system, throwing out the same tired talking points about the Durham report, the FBI, and deep state conspiracies. But Cenk shuts that down immediately. Because facts still matter. Trump lost fair and square in 2020. Every single recount, every hand audit, and every court case proved there was no fraud. If Trump had actual evidence, he would have shown it. Instead, he peddled insane conspiracy theories about Hugo Chavez, mules, and the Kraken, like some second-rate infomercial scammer. Cenk is 100% right here. Trump isn't just lying about the election, he's actively undermining America's democracy because he can't handle losing. MAGA loves to talk about saving America, but all they've done is rally around a guy who tried to overthrow the country because his ego couldn't take a fair loss.
So by the way, I will say this to you if you could. I will say this to you. So you're right when it comes down to if you think the other person is guilty, show the proof and go through it. That's the whole thing with innocent until proven guilty. Totally get it. But bro, mainstream media ran for 3.5 years that Trump, Russia, all that stuff. I'm not saying you. I'm saying mainstream media ran against them 3.5 years every day. This guy thought Russia got him elected. I mean, people that we know, smart guys.
But brother, mainstream media hates progressives. They've destroyed our movement.
I'm not.
Am I saying, we won the election?
But I said to you, I said not you. I said not you. I said mainstream media.
But my point is, Pat, you got to play the playing field. That's true for me. That's true for Trump.
Sure.
Right. So yes, mainstream media hates him. Yes, they did propaganda against him for 3.5 years. But that's the playing field, right?
Totally get it. No, it's totally fine. They have the edge. Listen, Republicans, if they want to have that, go buy some media companies and compete directly.
Yeah.
Musk is buying Twitter. Great. Go at it. Play your game if you're going to do what you're going to do.
Murdoch influences elections more than anyone else.
Murdoch is right now more at a whole different place. He's not a Team Trump guy. You know that, bro. He's not. But where I was going to this is the following. Okay. So the part for me that got confusing was the following. Okay. Do you remember during COVID, I had a lady named Judy Mikovits on who used to work with Fauci in 1980s with the AIDS thing. Oh, my God. It was like, boom, 2 million views taken down. Short clip, strike. What? Okay, let's interview this other guy. Boom, strike. Okay, all right. Boom, strike. They took like 40 of our videos down during COVID. And we kept doing the interviews, and we were not like, well, this is 5G. Remember the whole 5G thing? Like, that fizzled out very quickly. Everybody thought it was a 5G. But there was a community that was like, well, this is what's going on. Here's what they're doing. This is what they're doing. Okay, cool. We're like, all right, let's kind of take a look at to see what's going on. Election claims. Yeah, this is what they did, the drop and okay. Yeah, election fraud has been going on for a long time. Okay, this ain't anything new. It was something known for Democrats that would do a lot with John F. Kennedy, Dewey, all this stuff, and it's been going on for many, many years. Great. Okay, they're doing that. But if you put up any clips disputing it, guess what? You were getting strikes, and they were taking those videos down. Then 2-3 months ago, YouTube comes out and saying, moving forward, we're no longer taking those videos down. They can stay up, okay? Why would YouTube do that? Why would YouTube not allow it for 2.5 years and all of a sudden YouTube, can you pull up that clip on YouTube, change their guidelines on election claim or whatever? Like, no, moving forward, we're not going to take it down and we're changing our guidelines for it. So I'm not saying one or the other, but did YouTube behind closed doors, are they worried about a Twitter files coming out? Are they worried about, YouTube changes policy to allow false claims about past U.S. presidential elections. YouTube will stop removing content that falsely claims the 2020 election or other past U.S. presidential elections were marred by widespread fraud, errors, or glitches, the platform announced Friday. This is what, AP News? Less than 2 months ago. It's exactly 2 months ago, is when they put it up. Why would they do that?
I have a good theory.
I'm curious. I want to hear your theory why they would do that.
Yeah, because now every Republican believes it. Like 8 out of 10 Republicans believe it. So what are they going to do, ban every Republican? So I think they got to a point where they're like, we give up. Every right-winger believes this nonsense that's totally made up. So we can't ban all the right-wingers, so we just got to let them say it.
How much of it is, these guys on Rumble are kind of picking up some
Not
steam.
really. Rumble
No?
sucks. It's got no steam at all. Steven Crowder's career is dead. Everybody who's on Rumble's dead.
Steven Crowder's career is dead.
Of course, he went to Rumble. 3 people watched there. That's a terrible mistake. He should have taken the Daily Wire deal. I forget politics, right? Daily Wire offers him $50 million. He could have stayed on YouTube. He would have been relevant and had more money. It was a disastrous decision by him. Look, I'm happy to be wrong. If it turns out Rumble does great going forward, I'll come back and say I was wrong. But I'm telling you,
Who are the top
anybody
guys
who's on
Rumble right
gone.
now? Obviously, Fresh and Fit is on there. Sneako's on there. Not that they're in the
Look, you'll
political.
find 2 or 3 people who are getting views, but on YouTube, the whole world is getting views.
Right.
YouTube is taking over the planet, and that's part of why they're doing this, because they're like, what are we going to do? Not allow any right-wingers on YouTube? But if you guys say they're a little worried about competition, fair, no problem. I'm sure they considered that their business.
This debate was a wild ride, but at its core, it was just another example of Patrick Bet-David trying to paint mainstream media as the ultimate villain, while Cenk Uygur actually broke things down with facts. Patrick went on about how mainstream media spent years pushing Russia collusion and pandemic misinformation crackdowns, claiming it's all proof of bias. But Cenk wasn't buying it, because the reality is, mainstream media doesn't even like progressives either. They pushed back against Bernie Sanders. They tried to kill progressive movements, and they've been more interested in serving corporate interests than any real ideological agenda. And here's the irony. Trump, the guy Patrick defends so hard, is pushing journalists, blocking media access, and gutting news agencies that don't serve his interests. That's not fighting bias, that's straight up authoritarianism. So while Patrick cries about YouTube policies, Cenk is actually talking about real threats to press freedom. And guess what? The facts are on his side. Pause. Are you getting tired of getting half the story from biased news sources? One outlet says one thing and another says the complete opposite. How are you supposed to know what's actually true? That's where ground news comes in. It lets you compare how different media outlets, left, right, and center are covering the same story. So you can see the full picture instead of just the echo chamber. And here's the best part. Click the link in the description and get 40% off the Vantage tier, which gives you even deeper insights into media bias and political trends. Stay informed, think for yourself, and check out ground news in the description down below.